Nevertheless, the issues that Ahad Ha'am raised were critical. So we have political Zionism and cultural Zionism, and then the person who brought them together. This sounds very neat, and it sounds very convenient, but I believe it to be true. The person who brought them both together was Chaim Weizmann. Chaim Weizmann, who became the first president of the State of Israel, on the one hand, supported Herzl's idea of political Zionism. We need a state. On the other hand, unlike Herzl, Weizmann came from the Pale. He grew up speaking Yiddish. He understood Jewish culture from the inside out, and he was sympathetic with Ahad Ha'am's cultural Zionism. Now, what made Weizmann special? What made Weizmann special was that he could walk and chew gum at the same time. But the amazing thing about Weizmann was that on the one hand, he was a Zionist, and on the other hand, he got a PhD in chemistry. He became a world-class chemist, and he was able to develop both his Jewish life and his professional life. And his achievements as a chemist helped Great Britain in World War I to overcome a crisis in the production of artillery ammunition. And then he donated most of the royalties back to Britain. That helped get him entree into the drawing rooms of the British political elite: Balfour, Asquith, Winston Churchill. And Weizmann was the kind of Jew they had never seen in their life. He wasn't like these English Jews who were trying to be more English than the English. He would tell Yiddish jokes. He didn't hide who he was. He was happy to be who he was. And he pointed out to the British leaders how much Jewish interests and British interests converged. If Britain would support a Jewish national home in Palestine, Britain would gain and the Jews would gain. The British would have a reliable ally against not just Turkey, but the French and the Russians, and who knows what they would do in the future. American Jewry would be more pro-British. And he made these arguments, and you know what happened. In November 1917, thanks to Weizmann, Britain issued the Balfour Declaration, which did not promise a Jewish state. It promised a Jewish national home in Palestine, not in all of Palestine. And of course, there were many Jews who were horrified by the Balfour Declaration. There was Claude Montefiore in the British cabinet who said, as a member of the British cabinet, now that you've issued this, I should resign because the Balfour Declaration implies that there's a Jewish nation. And are you implying that I have double loyalties? The American Jewish Committee was against the Balfour Declaration. Jacob Schiff, Louis Marshall were not in favor of it. Yet, the issuance of the Balfour Declaration, for all of its weaknesses and for all of the promises Britain made that were not kept, this was another milestone in Jewish history. Because, as I said yesterday, it restored the Jews to political visibility. It restored the Jews to international law. It made Zionism once again into an international political question. And so we see here Weizmann, Ahad Ha'am, Herzl, all pushing the Zionist movement forward, by no means guaranteeing success, but certainly what we see is that by 1917, 1920, Zionism was far more developed and far more advanced than it was in the 1880s and 1890s. The next challenge was to build a real Jewish society in Palestine and to revive the Hebrew language. That was the great challenge that lay ahead.